There's a new dangerous drinking game out there where teens challenge peers over social media to outdo them in drinking alcohol, usually with dangerous results. Is a teenager hardwired to take these risks, and what can parents do about this? Joining me is Bill Corbett, parenting expert and author of Love, Limits, and Lessons, A Parent's Guide to Raising Cooperative Kids. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining me today to talk about this. So explain exactly what this game is called, Neck Nomination. Explain exactly what this is.
Well, of course, it's on social media, used with video, and the object is, from what I understand, a teenager or young adult are doing this as well. They will create some sort of concoction, an alcoholic concoction, and drink it down, and then they challenge their friends using social media channels and video to outdo that. And the object is to try to outdo the person before you. The problem is that it's leading to some problems.
People are dying over this. I mean, this isn't just teens getting rowdy. People are dying over this, fatalities, there's been accidents involved. But let's talk about the teenager itself. Mm-hmm. Are they hardwired to take risks? This is just, well, we have to accept this and this is just part of life?
Well, it is true what you're saying. Teenagers are hardwired to take risks. And in a simple way of explaining it, there are two regions of the brain that we're talking about. One is what's called the executive processing center. That is in each one of our brains that tells us what we should and should not do. Keeps us on the straight and narrow. But in the adolescent brain and oftentimes in a young adult brain, there is a region of the brain that loves to have the risks and motivates them to take risks. And how do experts know this? They've done brain scans and show that that region of the brain brights up lighter. So the problem that adults come in with is that they know that their teenager takes risks, but the classic is, what were you thinking? And the teenager says, I don't know what I was thinking, because they don't, because that risk region overpowers the executive processing center.
And I'm sure social media doesn't make it all that better nowadays.
Makes it worse because that's the world they live in. The adolescent, the young adult lives in, that's their virtual world. That's where their friends are. And so they crave to plug in and be a part of that network. That's where their connections are.
And it used to be before Facebook was the big thing. And I think parents, we were talking about this off camera, parents kind of like, oh, I'm going to join Facebook to keep an eye on my kids. But Facebook isn't really where all the teenagers are congregating now.
They're not. According to latest statistics, about 3 million teenagers' accounts have been shut down only because they left. They closed their accounts, and they're now joining apps such as Tumblr, which is a microblogger facility, and it's made up primarily of young people. And it's just another thing adults are going, I don't have the capacity to try to learn something else. I just figured out how Facebook works. But that's where their kids are going.
So what advice can you give to parents?
Well, the important thing to remember is, first of all, we should withhold social media from teenagers until at least 16, I say. So oftentimes parents say, well, what age? I say 16. And then what adults say is, but Facebook says it's 13. Who is Facebook to determine the psychological capability of a young person? So I say no social media accounts until at least 16 if you can. Very important point is to try to refrain allowing them free access to internet-enabled devices whenever they want, especially in their bedrooms, because that's where the mischief can begin. That's where they'll begin being influenced by their peers.
And it's funny, you're saying 16, but a lot of these kids, I mean, forget 13, a lot of these kids are 8 and 9 and 10 years old and they're already on Facebook. It's almost as if social media has become such a part of their life. I guess the goal is, it's going to be part of their life, but teaching them how to handle it and not letting it control the child.
Yeah, and how you can do that is if your child is already on social media, they have internet-enabled devices, the object is to talk about your child. Talk to your child about the risks. Now, even still, it may fall over deaf ears, but talk to them about it anyway. Limit its access. Keep it in areas of the home where you can monitor as much as possible, so that you've got to pay attention to what's going on with your kids.
And perhaps moving away from social media. So even if they have a social media account, trying to get as much away from social media as possible.
So I urge parents to do a couple of things. One is to encourage real-world relationships. encourage friends coming over or going over to houses that you feel safe for your child to be there, because you've got to replace the virtual relationship with the touch and feel, the real relationship that you and I grew up with. And we also want to make sure to get your child involved in activities that are real world, because there's all kinds of game systems out there that they can get involved in. But let's go back to the YMCA, the 4-H, the organizations that can really contribute to a quality life with our kids. We really want to promote them to have real relationships.
Great. Thank you so much for the tips and advice. Bill Corbett, thank you.
Glad to be here.